So I've been making content on YouTube now for about 6 years, which definitely, it seems like it's been a shorter time, but the kind of years go faster and faster as we get on. So yeah, 6 years, started off in 2012 with a camera pointed at a TV, and slowly but surely it's kind of grown into what it is now, uploading videos for like over 200,000 subscribers. It's pretty nutty, never thought I'd get to this position, but yeah, it's been a fun 6 years for sure. I'm definitely a gamer first and a racer. I started off, playing FIFA on my first ever like PS2, Spider-Man, whatnot. And even my first racing game was Need for Speed. I didn't even get into F1 gaming until F1 2010. I didn't even get into F1 the sport until about maybe 2006-07. So definitely late to the party in that way, but definitely means I'm well-rounded when it comes to gaming. I love, different sports games, but also FPS shooters, RPGs as well. So yeah, when it comes to away from YouTube, I definitely have, there's definitely a good amount of options of games I like to play, and some of them I even stream as well. So like I said, I've been watching F1 probably since 06, 07. My dad was really into F1 back then. He's not in so more. He's actually transitioned into golf, funnily enough, so that maybe speaks more about the sport than anything else. But yeah, it was 06. My dad was watching mainly, and I would kind of, just watch a few laps here and there with him. And then slowly but surely kind of got more into it, especially when my dad kind of showed me, okay, so this is Jenson Button, he's the British driver, the youngster. And then as soon as I started watching him, obviously Hamilton came in 07 then, so I was like, okay, I've got 2 Brits to watch then. Still kind of stuck with supporting Jenson Button, but I didn't fully get into watching every single quali section and race, full stop, no matter what, wherever I am, until about maybe the end of 2010, that finale where 5 drivers could win the championship potentially. Mathematically, that was what, sealed the deal for me and kind of drew me in for life now, I guess, into F1. I don't know, to be honest. I think it's him as a character. I think him, away from the track is such a laugh. He's got so much banter, so much charisma, and you can see that right now still when he comes on as a Sky and whatnot. But in the car as well, just some of the things he does, smooth driving style. I always feel like I've kind of almost tried to mimic his driving style when it comes to especially turning in and turning out of a corner on the F1 game. I'm very lazy in a way with my driving style. I don't really like to move the wheel too much in and out, so I think I kind of copied that off Jenson. And back on the early F1 games, I used to be a bit of a tyre wear saver, which is going to be very ironic and funny to some people who know me now, because I'm not great at tyre wear anymore on the F1 games, but I used to be. That's kind of going off Jenson. But I mean, on track, some of the races he's had, to name a few, Hungary 2011, Canada 2011, those ones were like the ones I'm always going to remember. But even back in the day, 2010, when he was going up against Lewis, it was a really exciting time. So I think that really drew me into him. But I mean, as a character, he's just great. So outside of YouTube, obviously, like I said, I game quite a bit, every single night if I have free time. I don't have a lot of free time when I'm making content pretty much throughout the day, but when I can, I game a lot. But also at the same time, I think if you follow me on social media, I'm massively into kind of my sneaker collection. I've been massively getting into that ever since I kind of left university. It's a kind of big passion of mine. Used to not really be an important thing to me. I used to be able to buy like a pair of white trainers from Sports Direct and kind of wear them for like 5 years flat and kind of really wear them out. But I kind of really recently got into them, and I think it's just it's a nice hobby, kind of get creative with it, with different kind of colours you can wear of sneakers, different kind of brands, and also streetwear as well. I've been massively into that, and it kind of helps as well seeing drivers like Lewis Hamilton also get into streetwear. The way he's like, quite geniusly, got this deal with Tommy Hilfiger with Mercedes, but then launched his own clothing brand that is very much inspired by streetwear. It's really exciting to see an F1 driver also get into that. So it's kind of two worlds colliding for me in that way. So yeah, massive into that. But I mean, gaming, watching films. If you look around my room, I've got like a Marvel Civil War poster. You guys will know if you follow me on Twitter that I'm a huge Marvel fanboy, so yeah, into my films as well. But yeah, a whole plethora of stuff, not just racing really. Like I said, gamer before a racer. Definitely, I think that surprises a lot of people because they see my channel, they see a lot of F1, but F1's only really a small part of what my life's about. It was a little bit out of the blue, but I mean, I'd known about Veloce before because I've had a few friends like, Terrell Limitless and Tim McMardick join Veloce before me as an esports driver and a content creator in the respectively. So I already knew about them, and they're up and coming, and they were growing quite rapidly. And yeah, I think what was it? I think Jack, one of the founders, came to me and asked me about the potential of working together, and the infrastructure and the kind of plan and roadmap they have for the future seemed really, really exciting. Obviously, they partnered with Alfa Romeo Sauber for their official F1 esports team, so that immediately was a very exciting prospect. And for me, I think it was, they were very happy to let me do what I do best, which is create content. But at the same time, if we can help each other in some way and grow in the space together, then it's going to be really exciting times. And I mean, already straight away, you've seen on my channel, getting to interview two of the Sauber F1 drivers. For me personally, it's already been a huge beneficial, and I know for them, they're also really excited to work with me on other types of content. I think it's just the drama and the excitement and everything actually away from the racetrack in a way. The race can be really great, but I think what F1 has always had for me, and maybe not other people look into that, is what happens outside the race. Everything that encompasses it, the storylines, the subplots behind driver transfers or driver relationships between teammates. And I think there's always that tension that you're in the same team, yet you want to beat the car next to you in the garage. And I think that's always something that's really the tension's always there in the air, despite maybe if the championship's a little bit dead, even to the last race, there's always something to play for. And I think also every year, obviously, like many sports, it resets, and you just never know what's going to happen. You never, obviously in F1 doesn't really happen, but like football's sake, Leicester winning the Premier League a few years ago. F1, maybe it doesn't happen, but you can have smaller kind of instances. You never know if a midfield team's going to rock up at one Grand Prix and just somehow win the Grand Prix, or even now Red Bull might rock up to the Singapore Grand Prix that we're just going to have coming up, and they might rock up and upset the party for Ferrari and Mercedes. So it's that unpredictability that maybe Fernando Alonso doesn't agree with.